This video is a short getting started guide for Dataforge Notebook version 2. You should have Dataforge Notebook open and then watch this video so you can follow along. If you don't have Dataforge Notebook, you can get it from the releases page for Dataforge Notebook on GitHub. After starting Dataforge Notebook, you'll see the welcome screen. This is probably where you found the getting started video. From the welcome screen, you can find recent files, help, and example notebooks. There's also the help menu, and there's a bunch of useful resources here. A good place to start is the Intro Notebook. The Intro Notebook is a simple example notebook. Each notebook is composed of cells, and you can see here we have a markdown cell with some documentation, and then immediately below it we have a code cell. We can click in the markdown cell to edit it, and then we can hit escape or select another cell to return to preview mode. In the code cell, we can write any valid JavaScript or TypeScript code. Any code that will work in Node.js will also work in Dataforge Notebook. You can grab the handle on the left of a cell to drag and rearrange it in the notebook. Below the code cell, we can see the output from running the code. This is the output from the last time I ran this notebook. Let's make a small modification to this code and evaluate it again. You can see that the output has changed. Here we have just done a simple console log, but you can put any JavaScript or TypeScript code that you want here. The only thing that's different about coding in Dataforge Notebook is the display function. It is the visualization workhorse of Dataforge Notebook. We can use the display function to visualize any JavaScript value. We can use it to visualize JavaScript arrays. We can use it to visualize JavaScript objects. If you remember nothing else from this getting started video, please just remember the display function. We can use the buttons at the bottom left of the cell to create a new cell below it. I just created a new code cell. You can use any NPM module in Dataforge Notebook and you don't have to manually install it. Dataforge Notebook is going to manage installing NPM modules for you. I'm going to make a REST API request and we'll look at the product data that comes back from it. Let's expand the area of the output so we can better see what we've got. This is interesting, but a better way to visualize this might be to use Dataforge Notebook's table plugin. Let's try using the Apex plugin to plot the rating. This isn't magic, this is just plain old JavaScript combined with Dataforge Notebook's display function. Oh well, to be honest, the display function is kind of like magic, but that's all you really have to know. Everything else is just plain old JavaScript or TypeScript. Like any application, Dataforge Notebook has many commands that you can invoke, like opening notebooks or saving them, and of course evaluating our code, which we've already seen. You can see a bunch of buttons already in the toolbar for common operations. You can also find all the operations and commands in the menu as well. And you can find all the commands in the command palette. And you can even search for commands that you're interested in. If you want to use Dataforge Notebook's hotkeys, you'll want to bring up the keyboard shortcuts overlay. That shows you all the hotkeys that you've got access to in Dataforge Notebook. When you're finished experimenting with the Intro Notebook, click the link at the bottom to move on to the next one. The next notebook is an overview of some of the simpler visualization techniques using the display function. We've just seen examples of all these. From here you can move on, you can look at how to plot a variety of charts, maps, working with CSV data and JSON data, working with REST APIs, or move on to the visualization notebook. And this shows you snippets of all the different types of visualization that you can do with Dataforge Notebook, including charts and also including maps. There's so much more that you can do with Dataforge Notebook. Please have fun exploring it, and don't be afraid to reach out to me for help or feedback.